What is going on, everybody? I hope you're all having yourselves a fantastic Saturday night. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith. Any questions, any comments you guys have tonight, please feel free to throw them my way. I have had quite a long day, ladies and gentlemen. Not going to lie to you. I'm feeling pretty beat street. Big shout out to my lady, Miss Chelsea Hummel. She opened up her shop today. Spent today with the little open house thing going down. It was a great time. So good job her going to school, getting that done during this crazy ass pandemic. So been a long one today. Had the Sixers game on my phone at times, watching them get their ass beat. So what a day it was. Now enjoying the Phillies winning a little bit, but wanted to hop on, talk a little bit of birds with you. So, yeah, tonight I want to, I've seen some chatter. I appreciate that, man. Tried to look a little bit nice, but I have to wear Eagles pretty much every day of my life. Well, I do. I mean, there's always something on me that's Eagles. So that's how I ride, man. Appreciate it, though. Anyways, so hope you're having a good night, Houston. Hope everybody is having a good night out there, having a great weekend so far. Look, we got the draft coming up, baby. 5 days away. Had my buddy Evan on last night. Hopefully you guys got to check that out. We talked a little bit about this draft coming up, what the Eagles' plans are, what we've seen, what they've been doing, this, that, the other thing. But what I want to get into tonight is I've been seeing, a lot of chatter, especially after the press conference about Howie Roseman. So the question is, I want to know how you guys feel, but, I'm going to answer the question. And, is will Howie redeem himself in the draft? Everybody is gunning for Howie Roseman. This is all his fault. You know that I like to place a little bit of blame on Mr. Jeffrey Lurie himself. But Howie, getting the blunt of it, doesn't know how to draft. This, that, the other thing, we all know. He's on the hot seat. We know that Jeffrey Lurie and he are best friends, and it seems like he can't do wrong. But at this point in time, we all see what he has done wrong, and I think Jeffrey Lurie has seen it as well. So he's on the hot seat, man. You saw Adam Kaplan talking about the pressure that he is feeling right now, and it's the most there's ever been. And it needs to be on him right now. And when I talked to Evan last night, we'd spoke about, what Howie's plans were going into this draft. And sure, we have some really good picks next year, possibly 3 first-round picks. We have 2 for sure. That's awesome. The draft is going to be loaded. We talk about having cap space. Great times ahead. But in this draft, you need to have a good draft, Howie Roseman. So you got 11 picks. You've got Zach Ertz. Apparently, Brandon Brooks is on the trade block. You've got a lot of tools here. Now, I don't think we should get rid of Brandon Brooks. Zach Ertz, I understand because he wants a new contract. We're not going to give him that money. We already restructured Brandon Brooks. So I don't know. I think you should keep him. I understand the health issues, blah, blah, blah. Love Brandon Brooks. Keep him here, please, for the love of God. But you have 11 picks. You have Zach Ertz. I have to imagine that Howie Roseman is going to be wheeling and dealing. And that's what we've been talking about all offseason. And we mentioned the fact that we could probably trade that 6th pick. We traded it. Now we're at 12. Well, as soon as that 12th pick was ours, we talked about the fact that that could be traded as well. Not only could we be trying to move back in the top 10, but we can be moving backwards, guys. So a lot of talent in this draft. I've seen some, tweets and posts about, the Eagles really did themselves in. There's no good players past pick 10 in this draft. That's not correct. There is a lot of talent in this draft, and that's why we talked about the Eagles possibly doing that. We need a lot of talent on this team. We need to get younger. We got rid of some of the older guys, but lots of holes here, guys. We need lots and lots of young players. We're retooling, rebuilding, whatever you want to call it. I don't think it's necessarily a rebuild. That offensive line stays healthy. Man, you got Miles Sanders still. Presumably just Dallas Goedert, not Zach Ertz, but that's a pretty good tight end. See what you add to that position in the draft and whatever else. But I really think that there's a lot of talent here. We talk about where we're lacking, the defense. We have some studs over there. Darius Slay brought on Anthony Harris. Obviously, we still have Fletcher Cox. Hargrave and him were definitely starting to look pretty nice at the end of the year. I'm excited. Brandon Graham's back, restructured. Derek Barnett back. Josh Sweat, excited to see him continue to grow. So lots of talent on this team, but we got new coaches. So a lot of the people that were on this team that failed, went elsewhere, became studs, we talk about maybe it was the coaching. Maybe Howie isn't as horrible at drafting as people say. Look, he's definitely missed on some studs. Let's not kid ourselves. But I think what we need to listen to is, when he said the other day during that press conference, when he was talking about, the mistakes he's made, and he brought up it's not a perfect science. And yeah, definitely hasn't been for you. But he's talked about learning from his mistakes, he and Jeffrey Lurie, and I think, we talked about the fact that they literally are doing way too much. I understand if it's your team, you want to have a say in things that are going down. If you're the GM, you want to know how these people are being used. I get that. But there's also people given jobs. Like, you literally are hiring these guys that are professionals, so let them do their jobs, these scouts. And what I loved from this past press conference was Andy Weidel. We talked about him. You guys saw my post from that day, how excited I was just listening to him. I was already excited. I've talked about him, had a couple shows just talking about Andy Weidel. I think that presser got me pretty excited just hearing, man, like he meant business. Like, this dude meant business. And he talked about, and I talked about it last night, how I felt Nick Sirianni and Andy Weidel just kept saying about how they're pretty much trying to get into the ears of Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie by explaining to them, look, this is how this guy is going to fit our system. This is why we have this guy ahead of this guy. Like, so I'm really hopeful that they are learning from their mistakes. And, regardless, obviously Howie's missed on some studs, especially the past couple years at receiver with Justin Jefferson, DK Metcalf. I'm really hopeful for Jalen Reagor, but, obviously some studs were passed on and other teams passed on them too. But Howie, I get where a lot of the blame goes, but this is why for months I've said you got to put some blame on Jeffrey Lurie because he's allowing all this to happen. So I feel Andy Weidel, like I've been saying for a couple months now, is going to have a lot more say. So let's hope that they've come together and they actually have some kind of system, which it seems that maybe they do, where they're going to listen to the scouts. They're going to, you heard the excitement from Nick Sirianni talking about the scouts being able to come into the building this upcoming week. Just him getting excited about being able to talk to the scouts, show him what he wants, talking about, what they saw and what they like and this and that and what players can fit. I bet he's excited because he's a guy that loves the game. And, people, want to bash Nick Sirianni. Oh, his beard. Oh, rock, paper, scissors, banana route. Look, dude, as long as he can coach, I love that he's excited. I love that he loves the game. And I think Eagles fans obviously were tough to please, but give him a chance. I think this dude's passion could really fit in well. And obviously it's going to be some bumpy roads, guys, but what if he's a great coach? Obviously no one wanted to give Doug Peterson a chance and even Andy Reid. So it's like, I don't know. Just because he wasn't a head coach doesn't mean anything to me. He learned from Frank Reich, who everybody loved. So it's like, I'm giving him a chance. I'm trying to be optimistic, hoping that I try to relate this to a relationship. Maybe it was bad between Doug and Howie. So they were doing things to spite each other, trying to prove that they're the smarter guy. So they're making picks that the other guy doesn't like, doing this, that, the other thing. It's not good. Nick Sirianni comes in, that's the new relationship. Howie Roseman's doing everything he can to please him. Now, I'm not saying that's what he's doing, but look at it that way in the relationship where, he just wants to wine and dine him, make him happy. What if, they're actually going to get along, talk? He's going to listen to how he's going to play and how he's going to use some of these players. And maybe, just maybe, we'll actually have a good draft. So I'm excited. You got 11 picks. I think he's been on the phones talking about trading up, trading back. And that's not just with that 12th pick. We talk about the 37th, all the picks, 11 of them. Talk about Zach Ertz. I think he's going to be a very busy man come draft time. I would say tune in, strap in, because it's going to be a wild ride. I think there's going to be a good amount. I think there could be a couple trades the Eagles make to move around. Definitely a few. I think that they will be trying to make some moves because Howie knows fans are pissed. Jeffrey Lurie knows the fans are pissed, and we see the team crumbling. You just got rid of, two guys that helped us get to that Super Bowl and win it, Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz. To see him go down like that, nobody's happy, and they shouldn't be. It's chaos. Like, what just happened? Like, I'm still like, wait, what? Yeah, it's crazy. But just remember what it comes down to. It's all about this for us, right? It's all about the Eagles. So I'm just riding with the players, riding with the new coach, hoping that he's maybe something special that we found, hoping that Jonathan Gannon brings a new defense where we don't have to just stare at a picket fence because I can't do that anymore. So we knew what we had the last couple of years, injuries and chaos and just BS. Nobody wants that anymore. So sometimes change is scary. I understand that. I truly do. But maybe, just maybe, the pasture is greener on the other side. Just maybe. I really just think that the Eagles obviously had to have some changes made. And when we talked about in the offseason, Howie Roseman wasn't going anywhere, but some other people could. Sure enough, Doug's gone. Carson's gone. Jalen Hurts is QB1. Don't care what anybody says. I understand that, they didn't want to answer that question, and rightfully so. You're not going to tip your hand in the draft. This is a young team rebuilding, so nobody knows what we're doing. So don't tell them. We're not going to show them. And, Nick Sirianni said, we only had 2 days. Like, let's be real here. They really haven't got to see anything, but we all know Jalen Hurts is QB1. Joe Flacco is going to be QB2, the mentor, and I'm sure we'll bring a couple people in for camp. You should definitely do that because there's only 2 quarterbacks now on the roster. So, yes, that will happen, but people read way too much into what they said. Come on, man. This is what Howie's supposed to do. Howie's doing what he's supposed to. He got us under the cap. He got us the most draft picks. Now let's just see what he does with them, right? So I'm trying to hope he does redeem himself because we were just talking a couple years ago about building the guy a statue. His draft could make or break his debut. Still think we have pieces, but killing his draft is huge. Yeah, if he kills his draft, he's gone. There's no way that Howie, if you mess this up, there's so much talent in this draft, so much. And I find it hilarious when I see people saying this draft doesn't have talent because of COVID, whatever, people opting out. You're not watching tape on these people because there's lots of talent. And I've made shows throughout the months where you can go back and check different rounds where you can get different players. You don't have to go wide receiver in the first round, second round, third round, fourth. You can get good receivers throughout the draft. And I'm telling you, if you're good at drafting, you'll get these players. But that's what it comes down to. And, people talk about why would Howie trade back in the top 10? It's always about, what are you giving up? And sure, we already traded out of the top 10, so it might seem stupid, but you got yourself a first round pick next year and you moved up 33 spots in this draft from a 5th round pick into a 4th. So you gained a lot there. Now, if you trade back into the top 10 and you only give up like a 3rd round pick, Zach Ertz, and a 5th round next year, well, shit, you only gave up Ertz, a 3rd, a 5th. You still got that first, and say you get the 8th pick. Well, then you only move back 2 spots. You still got the guy you like, whoever it is that they're trying to get. That makes sense to me. So just be prepared. Howie's fighting for his job here, man. I think he knows that. What's going on, Pete? Thanks for tuning in, man. Appreciate all you guys tuning in. Any kind of questions, comments you want to throw out there, please feel free to do so. Just talking about Howie, though, tonight. And it's so funny, the fall from grace he's had. People talking about this guy for president, building him a statue because he helped win a Super Bowl. He did the right things that year. He undrafted free agents. We talked about Corey Clement that year. Look at the way he shined. It's like maybe, just maybe, he could strike gold again. Maybe with these 11 picks, he gets like 8 good players. Maybe we get some undrafted studs. Maybe he signs a couple more veterans after the draft process where we see we still have holes. And this team looks a lot better. And then maybe we go into camp, make some more moves. Somebody gets cut. You never know what's going to happen. But I'm not going to sit here and act like, oh, this team's a dumpster fire. The front office has been a dumpster fire. Yes. But that's why changes were made. So let's hope that these dumpster fires don't continue to trickle down. We hope that the problem was fixed and everybody's on the same page. That's what we need. We need everybody on the same page here. We really do. Howie can definitely redeem himself in terms of the draft, but I have major concerns with his contact with players. Yeah, and I talked about that a little bit earlier in the video, Pete. I think what needs to happen here is Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman need to know their place. And you say, well, I'm not saying you, but know his place. It's his team. Yes, Jeffrey Lurie owns his team, but what are you hiring? But you ever worked somewhere and you're trying to like make a steak or something, and the owner or somebody comes in and they're like, they come in for the first time in 8 months. You don't even know their name. You're like, oh, do you work here? No, I'm the owner. Oh, Gary, nice to meet you. They come in, they're telling you how to make the steak. It's like, look, jerk off, I've made this steak 1,000 times. That's literally what my job is. It's what you hired me to do. I'm not in your office telling you how to do those things because, well, I actually do know how to do those things, but I'm making steak. Okay. That's what you're paying me for. I came here to make a steak, okay? Do you want the steak done medium rare? Or are you going to come in here, mess it all up, and now it's well done? And that's what you get. Because now I'm distracted listening to you talk about how much you know. And when really I just knew how to do it the whole time. That's what you hired me for. That's what scouts are, okay? Howie, for the love of God, use them. You hear that, oh, I saw what the scouts saw, but I know what I'm talking about because I played Madden. And I'll tell you what, Madden will teach you a lot. Now, as a child, I did learn a lot from Madden, but you got to really play the game, understand the game. I'm not saying you had to play the game to understand it, but it helps. And someone like him that I'm not sure he's ever played, but analytics, that's great. I love analytics, but like I say, take it with a grain of salt, ladies and gentlemen. Take it with a grain of salt. Football, that's what it comes down to, man. Playing the game. Listen to your scouts. Listen to the coaches. Listen to Andy Weidel. These guys are here to help you. Please let them help you. Let them do their jobs. And let's have a successful draft, please, for the love of God. And I think if he does, if this team, if we make some insane trades, say we trade back into the first, we have 2 first rounders, say we, actually make this pretty good draft, we're looking at the team. Oh, well, you know what? Maybe it's not so bad after all. I think Howie could totally redeem himself. Yo, have a good night, my man. I'm actually going to get rolling myself. I'm literally beat. I just got home. I was gone all day over at the shop. It was great. But I am totally beat. But I couldn't go a night without talking to birds with you. So I had to jump on. Yeah, dude, that J.J. trade, when that was made, what was that, like week 3 or 4 or something wild like that? That was awesome. We had LeGarrette Blount, and it was like, oh, geez, well, what do we get here? Dude, that's why I have stressed ever since then. Get another running back. And, obviously we have Miles Sanders now for the last 2 years, but for the last 2 years, all I've said is, add a running back. We added him, and it was like, okay, cool. We had Jordan Howard. I thought 1-2 punch. Here we go. Well, you let him walk. Then he came back and was banged up. You brought him back again this year, but I'm going to clamor again to draft a RB2 to go 1-2 punch with him, man. I don't care. If you look at the Browns, you look at the Ravens, you look at the Chiefs, how many teams use multiple backs? All of them. Dude, all of the playoff teams. Look at them. Buccaneers, I mean, come on, guys. We won the Super Bowl with 2 running backs, and people literally argue like, yeah, Miles, we're fine. It's like, well, look, as much as we clamored for Miles to get 20 carries per game, when does he ever do that? And when he does, he gets hurt. So I hope he can stay healthy, but imagine having a 1-2 punch, more of a bruiser in there. I'd be all for it. Being real, I've talked about Javonte Williams over and over again. Would love to have him at pick 37. Maybe you have to, I don't know if he drops there. Maybe you trade up. If there's a spot you see where you want to take him if he's fallen, make that happen. But there's so many talented players. We talked about corners, linebackers, safeties, everything is in this draft. So, Howie, you have a chance to totally redeem yourself. Please do that. Thank you, for the love of God. And that's it, Pete. He could make another trade. He could do anything. You never know. So let's strap in, try to give him a little chance, and let's give him a shot to redeem himself. If he doesn't, well, then we can go storm some doors, dude, because I'm sick and tired of it. We all are. So you have to listen to scouts. You have to listen to Andy Weidel, and I think he will. I truly think he's learning from his mistakes, and he knows how pissed off people are. I truly think the problem is out, and that is Doug Peterson. And that whatever strife between he and Carson, that's all gone. It's over, man. And however you feel about it, it's done. So who cares? Let's move on. Get ready for Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. Let's go. Hey, 3 a.m. Well, I appreciate you tuning in, Pete. I truly do. If you ever catch these or watch these on YouTube later, always try to comment back if anybody does. Always try to get back to you guys. Always love talking, whether it's live on here or just chit-chatting. Doesn't matter. Always try to get back to you. So you have yourself a great night, man. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to get rolling out. You guys know, though, if you need anything, you can always reach out to me, whether it be about football, life, doesn't matter, man. But what a great day. Another shout out to my beautiful girlfriend, Chelsea, on opening her shop today. But I'm beat because I spent all day there. So proud of that woman. But I hope you guys are having yourself a great weekend so far. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to have a couple more guests in the next couple days. We're getting ready. Mock draft Monday's coming. So I'm going to drop my mock draft on Monday. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking a little bit about that and some other things. So strap on in. But Monday, I'm going to drop it down. You guys know how I roll right before that draft. We'll see if I can hit it 3 years in a row. Highly doubt it. But I'm going to try to put a little sprinkle of extra luck on there that I'm going to pick a stud and hope that the Eagles do the same. So hope you guys are having yourselves a great night. But I'm rolling out. And as always, go Birds!